If you're looking to learn exactly what an account manager is, how it works, and see whether or not it's something you should be interested in, stick around because we're gonna get all your questions answered in this video. Hey, it's Patrick Deng here, creator of SalesLegacy.com, the ultimate sales masterclass. And before we go ahead and get started, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and let's go ahead and dive right in. So to start things off, we have to first define exactly what an account manager is. So the definition for an account manager we're gonna use is this: a performance-based sales role that retains and increases revenue of current customers, which include renewals, upselling, and cross-selling, okay? So that's like the standard definition, but let me go ahead and break it down in layman's terms, okay? So in a company, let's say you're working at a Salesforce, an Oracle, a HubSpot, you know, any company essentially. You're gonna have people who go out and look for customers and close deals, right? This is not what an account manager does. An account manager is the person that handles the customer after the first initial deal is closed. So an account manager is only working with people who have already signed a deal with a company and they are already an existing customer. So obviously that makes the job a lot more easier because you're not selling to a stranger who has no idea who you are. You're selling to someone who went through that entire process, signed a deal and gave you money, and now an account manager is assigned to that company to make sure that they are happy with the product and service that they buy, they're successful with it, and to find any more opportunities to grow this account so that they spend more money at the company. So if you think about, let's say, technology companies or even service-based business, right? Let's say you sign a deal with a company and you're charging them, let's say $100,000 a year for whatever service or product you're providing them, okay? Well, it takes a lot of work to first get that deal done for that 100K for the first year. But where the real money is made is that if that customer renews the deal for years to come. So let's say you sign the contract and the customer is happy for 1 year, and then they sign another 3-year contract and another 3-year contract. Now you got 6 years, right? And so that's gonna be a lot more money than just that first initial year. So the account manager's job is to make sure that customer is happy and they continue to keep buying the products and services that you sold them every single year, assuming that they have a recurring type of business. And so the first job responsibility an account manager has is retaining customers, which is what I briefly touched on. So for customers, especially in like technology sales, for example, there's this concept called churn, right? So let's say you have 100 people that sign up for a product or service, and then your churn rate is the rate at which people drop off, right? And so you might find that, out of 100 people, 30% of them are churning, meaning they're just leaving for whatever reason. So an account manager's job is also to say, hey, why are they leaving? Why are 30% of our customers leaving within the first month? And so to figure out that problem, an account manager has to be assigned to them and be like, hey, I'm here to help you be successful. So if you have any challenges or problems, you can talk directly to me and we're gonna be happy to help you out and do what it takes to win your business and continue to win your business. A lot of times their performance is based on how well they can keep customers just paying as long as possible, right? And increasing or decreasing that churn rate so that people don't fall off. And sometimes an account manager is not really paid a commission because they didn't necessarily earn the commission because they didn't sell the initial product, but they may be based on some kind of performance or bonus where if they keep renewing the customers for a certain amount of dollars, then they get a special bonus, right? So it really depends on a company. Some companies will pay a commission, some companies won't pay a commission, but they'll do bonuses. So it really just depends on where you're working. So make sure you ask the company to see what their compensation model looks like. Now, the next core responsibility of an account manager is to grow existing customers, right? So it's not enough just to keep the customer paying, you gotta grow the account. So an account manager, sometimes, they're assigned a few big accounts and all day, every day, they're just looking, on their computer at how the company is using the product and the software, and they're looking for these opportunities for them to, start a conversation, and they're trying to see if that customer will buy more products and services or more of the same things or more features, more seats, whatever it may be, right? So for example, if you were a account manager working at Adobe, right? Adobe makes like Photoshop, Illustrator, and a suite of other creative tools. Well, design studios, if they have like hundreds of employees who are using the Adobe suite, that's gonna be a lot of money, right? So let's just throw out a number. Let's say a company is spending $100,000 on Adobe products every single year for their army of creatives. Now, if you're an account manager for Adobe and you have a relationship with the company and the decision makers, and you know that they just hired another 100 employees, well, who's gonna be there to sell them the seats for those new 100 employees, right? Because those 100 employees are gonna need Adobe. Well, who's gonna sell it to them? And that's where the account manager comes in. They're gonna come in, they have the relationship, and they know that Adobe just hired 100 people. So they're gonna say, hey, I noticed that you just hired some people. I'm just curious to know if you want to have a conversation on what it might look like to purchase some more Adobe products for these people, and we can make sure we get the right ones to your employees. And then you have a conversation and see what the deal is, and you negotiate the deal and you close it, and that's pretty much it. And you just grew the account based on the company growing, right? That's obviously like a more easier example. Other examples might be in advertising. Let's say you're selling advertising to mobile apps so they can get more downloads, right? So in those kind of situations, you will have to keep looking on your computer to see how a company is spending money on your advertising platform, and if you can spot any opportunities for them to spend even more money in different ways on your platform, right? And so you have to watch the data quite closely, and there are gonna be these triggers or alarms, or you might have to see it manually to say like, okay, this company is spending X amount of dollars, but we believe they can be even more successful if they invested Y amount of dollars in this avenue. And then you have to start the conversation and be like, hey, I saw your ads are doing really well. Just curious to know if you're really looking to bump it up and try a different channel on top of what you're already doing. And so by doing that, you're opening another channel for that customer to spend more money with you. And ultimately, because you're helping them, it's a win-win on both sides. So being an account manager, it's not always obvious where someone needs to buy more products and services and features. Sometimes you have to go out and look for them based on the activity that you see in your database on your computer. Now, the next core responsibility an account manager have is cross-selling, right? So before we talked about, let's say, selling more of the same thing or selling more features, or selling more seats, and you're generally kind of in the same space. Cross-selling is when you are selling something that's not quite related or not directly related to what you already sold them, but it's complementary or it helps in some way and they can work together. So a really easy example is McDonald's, right? So when you go to McDonald's and you order a burger, right? And the person might ask you, would you like fries with that? And you might buy fries, you might buy a drink. So, to give you an example of cross-selling, right? A hamburger is not necessarily the same as French fries. If you're upselling someone, you might say, hey, you bought one hamburger. Do you want a double patty? Do you want 2 hamburgers, right? You're moving up the ladder. Now, cross-selling is when you say, do you want fries with that? Fries are not exactly the same as a hamburger, but they're complementary and they're 2 foods that can go together. So is a drink. So that's cross-selling, right? So it's the exact same thing in B2B sales, right? So for example, let's say you're selling HubSpot. If you're selling HubSpot, you can kind of see that they have many different software. They have marketing, sales, CMS, which is content management system, and they have operations, okay? So if you sold in HubSpot, if you don't know, it's like they sell a lot of sales and marketing software for many different type of businesses, from small, medium to enterprise. So let's say you're working at HubSpot, you're an account manager, and you know that this customer that is under your territory has the marketing suite of products with HubSpot. You might notice, and based on your conversations with the decision makers, that they are going to hire a sales team so that they can turn those leads into customers, and someone has to be on the phone. Well, you can ask them, hey, are you using any type of CRM right now? Are you using Excel sheets? Like, what's the deal? And if they aren't using a CRM, perfect opportunity for you to sell HubSpot Sales CRM. And so what you're doing is you're identifying these opportunities where you can sell different things that are not directly related to that marketing software, and sell, let's say, a sales related software, or maybe it's a content management software or operations software, right? These are kind of like different departments. As a good account manager, you have to really build that relationship with your key accounts and know exactly when they are ready to move into different cross sells within your inventory. So in my opinion, the best account managers are the ones that are not just, keeping the customers and make sure that they're paying and happy, but also they have to go out and proactively look for opportunities to grow their customer base and generate more revenue for the company, right? You can't just sit back and chill. I guess in some jobs you could, but if you want to be a high performer, you definitely have to be proactive in finding these opportunities that may not always be so obvious. And so with that said, that is what an account manager is and their core responsibilities. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe because it's free to subscribe, and turn on notifications. And if you want to really take your sales game to the next level, maybe start and accelerate your sales career, check out my masterclass, Sales Legacy, at saleslegacy.com, or the link is in the description. It's my masterclass that's going to teach you everything you need to know when it comes to sales, from starting your sales career, prospecting, closing, doing presentations, cold email, LinkedIn, everything you need to know, it's all in there. So if you want to check it out, I got a free 1-hour training. Check the link in the description and see if it's the right fit for you. And with that said, my name is Patrick Dang, and I'll see you guys in the next one.